Hello, friends, and welcome back to the channel and another live stream. So, guys, today we are diving into a huge international clash that's blown up between the United States and the European Union. A fight that's not just political but cultural, economic, and deeply future of free speech and big tech. I'm talking about the European Commission's massive $150 million fine against Musk platform X and the fiery response it triggered from America's Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Rubio didn't hold back. He posted that the fine isn't just an attack on Musk or on X. He says it's an attack on all the American tech people. And that's a bold claim. So, today, guys, we are going to break down what he meant, whether it's true, and who are these Europeans are that just Rubio says are censoring Americans. Let's start with the background. The European Commission, basically the executive government of the European Union, fined X for violating several rules in their Digital Services Act, a gigantic legal framework that forces tech companies to moderate harmful content, expose their ad data, and prevent scams. From Europe's perspective, this is not about free speech at all. It's about pushing responsibility to misinformation and illegal content. The EU sees itself as a global regulator that can tame Silicon Valley. But from the American side, especially under the Trump administration, this looks like something very different. Rubio and JD Vance says the European Union has gone too far, that instead of protecting users, they are imposing their own political values on American companies and indirectly on Americans who use those platforms. Rubio is arguing that the EU's fine is punishment for Musk refusing to censor speech the way Europe wants. In his words, it's foreign governments trying to dictate what Americans say. Now, is Rubio right? Well, here is things got complicated. When Rubio says Europeans, he's talking about random citizens in France or Germany. He's referring specifically to the European Commission, the group of unelected bureaucrats who draft and enforce the EU's digital laws. These are the people who says Musk's new blue check system is deceptive, who say X isn't transparent even without the ads, who want platforms to make data available to researchers. Europeans in government tend to view speech differently than Americans. They prioritize safety and regulation over absolute free expression. So, in that sense, yes, Rubio calls Europeans are policymakers who have a much stricter philosophy on free speech than the US. But is it an attack on the American people? That's where the truth gets gray. The EU isn't punishing Americans, it's enforcing rules for platforms operating in Europe. But Rubio's larger point is that when the EU pressures American tech companies to follow European rules, they indirectly shape how those companies operate worldwide, which could spill into the American online spaces too. And historically, he's not wrong. Many global tech policy shifts that start in Europe and then spread across. The deeper tension is this: the US First Amendment absolutely protects the speech, including offensive or controversial speech. Europe laws don't. Europe prioritizes safety, regulation, and anti extremism. Rubio is arguing that Europe's standards are slowly creeping into the American digital platforms using fines and regulations on corporations. Elon Musk's stance add fuels to the fire. When he bought Twitter in 2022, he promised to end censorship and allow free expression unless something was explicitly illegal. Europe hated that. Governments worried that a freer platform meant more hate speech and misinformation. Rubio is interpreting that EU's fine as political punishment, basically Europe saying, if you want police the users that we want, we will not till your wallet. Whether you agree with Rubio or not depends on where you stand in the larger debate. Should platforms be responsible for controlling content, or should free speech be unrestricted as long as it's legal? Europe leans towards enforcement, the US leans towards liberty. The fine against US is historic. It's the first time EU has used the Digital Services Act to deliver a non-compliance decision. That means X didn't just break one rule. Europe concluded the platform systematically resisted its transparency demands. Things like selling blue checkmarks without identity verification, not providing complete ad database, and making data hard for researchers to access. These are the areas Europe says X field. Rubio and others say something else entirely. That Europe doesn't like Musk's refusal to censor content and is using regulations as a weapon. So this movement, guys, isn't just about the one fine. It's about two competing visions of the internet. America's idea of free speech versus Europe's idea of digital safety. As we wait for the Musk response, one thing is clear: this clash isn't over. In fact, this might be the opening shot in the new era of tech geopolitics, where governments around the world starts fighting publicly over who controls the online narratives, platforms, and speech. And if Rubio is right, Americans are right in the middle of that battle, whether they realize it or not. So, guys, if you like this video, this breakdown, or if you found it eye opening, give it a like and subscribe to our channel for such amazing tech news, amazing US news, and politics news. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. And most importantly, let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about this? And I will see you guys in the next video.